Everyone, it's Kathy, and welcome back here to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and back here in my craft room. I'm hoping today you're going to love the project we're going to do. I was a little late getting in on my Easter cards this year for whatever reason, but Stampin' Up! Has a beautiful Easter lily set, and it's located on page 25 in the mini catalog. And it's a beautiful stamp and die set, so you can get the bundle, which saves you 10% if you buy the bundle price over buying the individual stamp and dies. So anytime you see a bundle in the catalog or online, it's always going to save you 10% if you take advantage of that bundle. But to do that, you have to use the bundle number. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. But that's what we're going to do today, and I wanted to show it to you in the catalog before we get started. And here is the set, and I have taken out quite a few of the dies and the different things, but there is the stamp set. It is a photopolymer stamp set, and it is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to actually use more of the dies today than the stamps, but we are going to do some stamping. So my color palette is going to be Highland Heather for my card base. I'm going to be using a fresh freesia to cut out my my actual petals to my lily. I'm also going to use for the stamen a piece of the Highland Heather. We're also going to be cutting our greenery out of the Granny Apple Green, and we're going to accent everything with Lemon Lolly. I love these colors together. I think they just scream spring and Easter. So let's go ahead and get started with this. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this to the side because we're not going to do our die cutting first. Let's go ahead and do our scoring. So I'm going to bring up my score tool, and I'm going to put this all the way over in my top left corner. And this is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Give that a nice score. And there is our card base. Now I want to do some stamping. So I have this as my mat, and I want to make my own background paper. I want it to be subtle, but yet see that it's there. So I'm going to grab Lemon Lolly, and we're going to do tone on tone. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to grab a piece of grid paper just to put under it so if I stamp off, I don't have to wipe my desk off. Let's just stick that up underneath there. And I'm going to use this open, not quite open lily bud, and we're going to stamp all over our paper. So I'm going to just load it up, and I'm going to come in maybe like that. And you can see it's very subtle, and that's what I want. Maybe like this. If you notice, I'm turning my paper as I go, so I'm getting different angles of that lily. And that's what I want. I don't want it to look like it was done intentionally. I want it to look like the print on paper. And this is a good way to do that, just by turning your paper as you go and just kind of stamping here and there. And by stamping on and off, it does give you the effect that this was actually printed like this. So it does give you a beautiful look to your paper. Now, if you see some places that looks like it needs a little bit more, just go in and stamp like that. And isn't that beautiful? I love the way that looks. So the next thing while we're stamping, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to use my Highland Heather, and I want to use the sentiment that says he is risen. So I'm going to ink that up in my Highland Heather. You could also do this in black if you like. I just like the look of this. I'm going to stamp this right here in that top left-hand corner. Like right about there. I'm going to give it a good press because I want it to be as dark as possible. Very pretty. Okay, so we have that done. The other stamping that we need to do is a little bit on here. And I want to stamp, slide that over there. I want to stamp in garden green because I want this to stand out a little bit. This is greeny apple green, but I'm going to stamp in garden green. And what I want to stamp is my stem. So I'm going to ink that up. Let's go right about here. And then our palm fronds, I want to do those as well. So I'm going to ink those up in that same color. And I'm going to do one right about here. I want to try it, and I want to do another one right there. Just like that. Okay, I think we've gotten our stamping done, except our inside. I do want to stamp on the inside, and I'm going to use for the inside, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. I love that, and we're going to do that in the Highland Heather. And then for a little bit of interest, I'm going to wipe off my stamp. This was that little bud. I'm going to stamp him in the purple or the Highland Heather. And I'm going to put this right about here. Just to kind of finish that off. So now I have the inside and I have my outside. Now we need to do some die cutting. So let's go ahead and move this out of our way. And we are going to pull over our stamp and cut and emboss machine. We've got these already laid out, ready to go into our machine. And I need to put the dies on these to cut out. So I need this die. Like that. And, there's one other thing I needed to put, and that's my leaves. I might have to grab another piece of, I have a piece right here. We are going to cut these leaves as well. These two right here. So these are going to need, we might be able to get them here. Yeah, I'm going to need to do that on a different piece. We need the other die right here. We'll line that up. We'll run that through, we'll run these through, and we'll run this through. And I think we will be ready then to put our card together. So let's bring up our big machine. And we're going to need our plates, our number 1 plate and our number 2 plate, which is our die adapter. We're going to need a very loved cut plate and another number 3 plate to cover with. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay this one here. And I'm going to lay these, I think like this. And put my cover plate over and crank it through. And we got those pieces. And now I'm going to lay this piece on and push it through. And we have these pieces cut. I'm going to lay this one back over top of this. I'm going to bring it up like this. I can usually get it better positioned if I'm looking at it straight on. So I'm just going to take that down and lay that back on there and then run it back through. And we have that piece cut. So now the only thing we have left to do is these and this. So again, I'm going to cover with my cover plate and I am going to crank it through. Go ahead and pull these off. Here's one of our petals. And there's another petal and another. And then we have our little stamen. So I think all of our die cutting is done. Now we are ready to start building our flower. So I've got all my pieces and I'm building everything on this piece of paper that we pre-stamp. So what I want to do is I want to lay out my lily like this. And this is going to go like right about there. And then this is going to go over it like that. And actually bring that down just a hair. And we're going to pop this all up and sort of be more 3-dimensional. And to do that, I'm just going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. So this makes it so easy to pop everything up so it looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one right there. And then I'm going to lay the 2 petals onto the 3. And then I'm going to put another dimensional right there. And I'm going to set this down into that dimensional. And then we're going to put some glue over top of this one, just to give it a little extra something. We're going to put that one like that. See how easy it was to put that flower together? And look how gorgeous it is. Isn't that a beautiful lily? Love it, love it. All right, then we have the little stem that we're going to sit it on. And to do that, I'm going to put glue. I might do a little dimensional. Let's do a small dimensional. And tuck him right there. Pull the backer off. Let's set that right onto that dimensional. Like that. Then we have our leaves. So what I want to do is I want to set this down here, and then I want to position my leaves so that they are not coming off of this piece. So we'll put one there and one like that. And then we have these fronds that we want to put in. And I think one right here and one right there. Love that. Is that not gorgeous? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up. I want to make sure I get my leaves exactly where I got them. So I'm going to lift up and put some glue down and press it. Same thing here. And the same thing up here. That should hold everything down there. Then for this, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use some more dimensionals on the back of it. I really want this flower to showcase. So in order to have it to really show like I want it to, I want it to be popped up. Really nice. I'm going to use some small dimensionals here on little minis. And then I'll pull these off. And then we will put this down like that. Is that not gorgeous? Now all we have to do to finish this card off is to put this onto our card base. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I burnish this, get all my little backers off and put them in the trash. And I want to grab my bone folder because I really want to crease this nice and tight. And then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I'm going to sit this down, being very mindful of my border. like so. Then I'm going to do, did you see what I just did? I glued this on upside down. Thank goodness it was liquid glue and I get a chance to come back. I usually always check, but that time I didn't. Thank goodness it was liquid glue and I was able to take it right back up. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hey, things happen. That was an easy fix, and that's another reason why I love liquid glue. Okay, so now we have that down. Let's go ahead and put this on the inside. Just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? Such a beautiful card, I think. Now I want to put on, um, looking at all of my beauties, all of my pretties. I think I'm gonna go with these iridescent rhinestones. They go with everything and they pick up the color that you're using. So I think these would be really pretty on here. So I'm gonna grab my take your pick tool and I'm gonna pull off and I'm gonna go up here to the top because at the top of that I have some larger ones. And I want one of these large ones. Right there. I think I'm gonna do one of the smaller ones, maybe here and here. And I think that's all this card needs. It's so pretty on its own. I love the way it turned out. I hope that you did. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so you can actually see the card a little better. Isn't it beautiful? So easy to make, and it was very elementary. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope this is something that you would do. And this we are coming up on the season of our risen Savior, and let's dwell our minds and our heart upon the love He had for us to go through what He did to save our soul. We thank you so much, Jesus, for your love and your sacrifice. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Savior. He is worthy. Until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye bye.